Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Havenwood, and welcome to Like a Boss podcast. Woo! Okay, so many of you guys know I started in the information marketing space years and years ago. But with that, many of you may not know that I'm actually a certified hypnotherapist. I know, can you believe it? And the reason why I learned hypnotherapy is I want to understand this thing called NLP and how we program ourselves and how we're programmed. So I'm going to share a story about that. Before I do that, I want to introduce to you our guest today, Art Giser. Is it Giser? Is that correct?
It's Giser, yes.
Good. Okay, great. Art Giser, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. This is great.
Yay! Okay, this is going to be fun. I have not interviewed someone in NLP in a long time, so this is going to be fun for me. And I love NLP and I have some great stories around it. So Art Giser is the creator of Energetic NLP. He's an internationally renowned NLP trainer, executive coach, corporate leadership consultant, psychic, and healer. Art's gifts is to help people develop their hidden talents and discover how amazing they truly are. An NLP trainer for 33 years, Art's unique background includes medical research, consulting to Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies, and developing powerful techniques for personal and spiritual growth. Known for his joy, humor, and compassion, I apologize. Art has a magically ability to help people release old programming. That's actually interesting. Did I say comparison?
I like the comparison part, yes.
Hopefully I don't know where I got that.
Well.
Right, I don't know where I got comparison there, Art. I deeply apologize. You can find him at energeticnlp.com/like-a-boss. That's energeticnlp.com/like-a-boss. All right, let's dive in. All right, so let's set the groundwork just in case people are like, what in the world is NLP? I've heard of that thing. And then we'll move into what is energetic NLP. So what's NLP?
Well, NLP was started actually in the 70s here in California. And the people might not be aware, back in those days, people thought 5 years was like a minimum amount of therapy. There's an old Woody Allen movie where he's talking to his girlfriend. He goes, I've only been in therapy 12 years. And, you know, I'm not making fun of that therapy. They did good work. But the people who started NLP went, well, there's 5 or 6 therapists they knew about who got magical results with people. People had really rapid, deep, lifelong changes. So they started studying them. And that was how they came up with NLP. Or NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and we all hate the name. But and it's really about rapid personal growth and transformation. Originally more therapeutic, how do you fix problems? But then they realized you could use it for skills transference. So somebody is a great entrepreneur. What are the different qualities? How are they thinking? What's going on in their internal reality that allows them to act and be in a way that makes them successful? And it's been applied to sports, relationships, health, every aspect of life. And energetic NLP, I add into that spiritual principles and energy.
We're not going there yet, Art. Hold on.
Okay.
One thing at a time.
Right.
You gotta follow the lead here, girl. All right, so here we go. So we're going to do NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming, and it was done and started in California, which I think is interesting. But I'm going to say it differently, what I call a layman's terms way to think about it. It's when we turn on the TV, when we turn on the radio, we are being programmed to think a particular way, and then we take on that belief as actually as ours. And the challenge is that our brains, you know, are kind of self-mush, as I call it, and they are programmable. So we can go back in time when we were kids and we can think about how we see money, people, race, whatnot. And usually those particular belief systems are ingrained in us at a very young age that we don't even know it. We take it on as our own. And so what NLP does, I think, in my experience, is that we have the opportunity to rewire our brain and start to choose new ways of thinking, right?
Absolutely right. And there's a big conscious component. So the unconscious component is really big, but people, how they're thinking of it deliberately and consciously is also limiting them. So in NLP, we're looking at both. What's unconscious programming and what are the actual conscious thoughts that people are attached to that hold them back?
Yeah. And I'm doing a lot of work personally right now in this space. I just did a huge hypnosis. I mean, I believe in it. So sometimes when I'm moving through my own personal changes, I'm going through a massive transformation in my life right now. So I'm actually doing hypnosis. I reached out to two and a hypnosis person and doing EDMR, which I don't know if you're familiar with that modality, but I'm doing EDMR. And I recently did a hypnosis session. And I actually did this really cool shaman session. So let's go into energetic work, which is I think what's unique about you, Art, is that you have the NLP side and your energetic healer. So
Right.
let's go down that road. Tell us about that side of your work.
And can I just tell people something about my background first?
Sure.
But my father was one of the early computer guys. I always wanted to be a scientist when I grew up. I'm a skeptic. I'm very logical. And it makes me crazy when people go, oh, all this woo-woo energy work. I mean, just because people have known about it for 40,000 years, it must be wrong, and it must be all superstition. And, and people go to me, well, I don't believe in invisible energies. And I go, what's your relationship to gravity, ultraviolet light, X-rays? How do you think your phone works? So physics is proving a lot of what people have said for a long time, that we are surrounded and we're made up of energies. So I want people to know you don't have to think of it as all being woo-woo. And some of it is just woo-woo and kind of silly, but a lot of it is really grounded, and there's a lot of research to back it up. And so the basic idea is that we're made up of energy fields, which again, that's physics. Yeah. And that those energy fields, like if you look at your hands and you go, what would your hands look like if you'd never washed them your entire life?
Gross!
Yeah, right. But the thing is, you would think that was you. You would go, well, that's just the nature of me. And, I don't move well and I'm crusty and stuff, but that's me. And then if you fell in a river or lake, you'd come out and go, what is this?
Right.
This is different, but this is me. And, it works better. Well, everybody's energy field is getting dirty all the time too. And people are clogged up with other people's energies. It affects their decisions, their emotions, their actions, their blocks. And again, I always laugh when people, I don't believe in energy. And then you turn on a sporting event and they're going, the energy of the crowd is amazing. And because it is amazing, and we feel it. And the thing is, we're absorbing, and it isn't like negative, positive energy. It's like, if people are absorbing my energies, they're Art's energies, whether they're nice or not, they're not yours. And so a lot of what I teach people is 3 or 4 really key, simple energy techniques to clear their energy field and get in touch with their authentic self. Because when they clear other people's energy, they're clearing, it's like unconscious programming. It's another whole set of programming. They're clearing emotions. So then you get in touch with your true self, your true abilities. And and the great thing is it's easy.
Okay, yeah. So, all right, I'm going to interrupt you. Yeah. A couple things with this is, so like I said, I went to a shaman recently, and basically what he's doing, if I could, if he's here, he probably sees something different. But what he did is he cleared out energy that was stuck onto me, I would say, by just being around other people and relationships and whatnot, and intimacy and stuff like that. So once that's kind of cleared up, what happens in my experience is my energy, my vibration rises. And when our vibration rises, we start to attract different things in our life. Just like the same way when our energy's low. Now, I just read something recently, and I'm curious what you think of this. I don't know if I believe it or not, but I'm curious what you think. Okay. All right. So it was a book I picked up, and the book, I'm of course paraphrasing, but the book basically said the following. It said, in their experience as an energy healer themselves, they found that people that have, let's call it they're addicted to alcohol or drugs on some level, they found that a large percentage, like 80 or 90% of the people that had that, it wasn't a disease necessarily, it was, let's call it an energetic entity-ish piece. Like some kind of karmic thing or an energetic entity that was more causing that than themselves. That if that was cleared up, their whole point, if that was cleared up, that their desire for the alcohol and drugs would be greatly diminished. What do you think of that?
I would describe it differently, and I agree with it. Yeah, and where I would describe it differently is particularly in the shamanistic traditions. There's a lot of things they consider entities that some of us would call thought forms. And every group of people have what are called these collective thought forms that contain rules for that group. And alcoholism or any kind of drug addiction or any kind of addiction, the groups create thought forms. And when people get hooked into that, they're being programmed. So it might say, I need to snort this, I need to take this. So it's like you're connected to a computer. So it can actually be a consciousness, but a lot of times it's more like a machine. It's more like a robot or a computer that's sending instructions. And if you want, I can give you a quick kind of fun example of it.
Yeah.
So years ago, I was working with this teenage boy, and his mother thought he had memory problems, and we got along real well. So you don't have memory problems. I go, you have attitude problems, because he'd forget like dentist appointments, homework, but he could tell you everything that happened in the book. So we got along really well, and he goes, but there's something bothering me. And I go, what? And he goes, I don't know why I like what I like.
Everyone.
And I started laughing and going, tell me more. And he goes, and this was years ago when that heroin look was in,
Yeah.
Emaciated. And he goes, I like rock stars that look like they got out of Auschwitz. But I feel like I don't really like it. And I wear clothes and I like them, but I don't think I really like them. And I eat foods. And I went, you're hooked into these teenage thought forms.
Yeah.
They're telling you what to like. And I go, I'm incredibly impressed. I mean, I never noticed this. I had to be taught it in my 30s. And I go, so you're aware that they're not authentic for you. And I go, if you want, I can disconnect you from that thought form. And he goes, well, what will happen? I go, you'll still be a teenager. You'll still hang out with your friends, but you'll have your own thoughts and feelings. And saw him 2 weeks later, and he goes, my taste in everything has changed, but it feels right now. And so in the same way, people that have addictions, they're hooked into these big thought forms. They go, drink this, take this, da, da, da. And when you disconnect them from them, it may or may not be the whole everything they need, but it will incredibly help.
I love that. Okay, there's a lot to be said there, because I think it's also, I'm going to use a different wording.
Please.
Culturally. So let's say I was born and raised in the South, okay? And my mom was a debutante, and I was taught there's only 3 things my mom wanted for me, which was marry someone rich, have a lot of babies, and always look good when I leave the house.
Right.
And what I say to my mom is, 1 ain't 3 ain't bad, Mom. 1 ain't 3 ain't bad. Right. So obviously I did not marry, and I don't have kids. So there you go, Mom. But there is a social construct. And the only reason I was able to really kind of break that social construct is that I actually ended up moving to Florida and traveling the world. And I traveled the world for work for almost 6 years. And when you start to really kind of get out of your thought process, and this is where I actually learned when I was traveling the world, I was traveling with success-minded people, NLP, motivational speakers. And so when you start to see and hear different things and thoughts and feelings of other people's different experiences of life, you really start to actually change your energy, but you also change how you view things. I became a different person, and I became a different person where that girl who grew up in the Southern home that was taught I was only supposed to bear babies, okay, and that's the only thing I was allowed to do, that woman changed, and I think that's what you're tapping into. It's a culture conversation too, when we're only tapped into that one culture,
absolutely,
particular view of the world. And if we can start to untap that into that particular space and start to look at our ways differently, but then there's also the energy of it. I mean, there's tons of conversations around athletes who come from not so great parts of the world or towns like Compton and whatnot, LA, and then they become quote unquote successful monetarily. Right. But then there's a percentage, so I read between 60 to 80% of the NFL players within 10 years of leaving the NFL, they're bankrupt and broke. Wow. And that's because that social programming takes over. Yeah. In a southern way, in a very southern way, my southern cohorts would say, you can take the girl out of the you can take the girl out of the white trash neighborhood, but you can't take the white trash out of the girl. Kind of thing. That's a negative way, but that's the point, is that you can pull people out of a situation, but unless you start to reprogram their brain around it, they're going to fall back to what they know. Well,
I think what you're saying is one of the most important things in life, and like when I teach an energetic NLP program, I make them take a pledge at the beginning that they're not going to believe anything that I tell them.
Yeah.
And I go, we're going to clear energy and you're going to connect with your inner wisdom, your heart's desires, your truth. I go, I'm not invested in you believing what I believe.
Yeah.
And we consistently keep doing that. So what you're saying about getting it culturally and consciously, that will affect the energy too. And then when you also work on it energetically, because these players they're hooked into thought forms, and some of it's from their upbringing. Some of it is, that they're hooking into other players who have the same, we like resonate off one another. And even like when I've been to like a internet marketing conference or something, friends of mine that work with energy, they'll go, they taught you a lot of great stuff, Art, but some of them, their attitude toward marketing, not that it's bad, but it's not yours. So they'll help me pull their energy out of my space. And then I can take from them what works for me and use it well, but not without being them. And from an energetic NLP viewpoint, we said you became a different woman. We'd say you became who you were. That
authentically who I am.
Wasn't you.
Yeah, not who I was born into, but who I really am. And I deal with that today in my business. I think that what happens with today is a lot of people look at me and go, oh, you're like, and they compare me to other women entrepreneurs like, right. You're like this, you're like this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not like her. I'm not like Marie Folio. God love her. I think she's great. I can't do what she does. Yeah. She does her hair for 2 hours, and then she's got 5,000 makeup artists and outfits and I even tried that a couple of years ago. I'm going to be like Marie. And I did the whole thing. I hired got a studio. I rented it. I hired a video guy. I got with 5 outfits. I got the hair done. And then I did 5 or 6 videos, because that's what she does in a day or something like that. I don't know exactly how many. And I was exhausted. I hated it. I didn't like how it turned out. And because it was too canned for me. It was like I had to do the scripting, and that's not me. I'm an improver. Let's move this baby. Let's have some fun. I barely talked to you before we got on. I'm like, okay, your name is, it's kind of what we talk about. We're good to go. So because I like to pull in the moment. That's just me.
That's great. I'm more like you. A good friend of mine, Charlie Shepard, has a wonderful consulting firm, and I was doing some work for his firm, and he'd always start off with a magic trick. And and it would tie into the theme of the program, and people would love it, and I would do it, and it would just, and I finally went down, I go, Charlie, I'm going to find something else to do, because it's just not me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that either.
He's going, yeah, that's fine. He goes, it works for me. You get the same result however you want to get it. And I'm like you, I'll riff off the moment. In fact, I studied a little improv theater in college, because like you, I like to let's play with what's happening.
Yeah, I did a year of improv, and then I did recently, 6 months ago, I took a class on comedy, and I learned how to get on stage and do comedy. And this kind of ties into what we're saying. So this is a true story. This ties exactly into what we're talking about today. First day of class of my comedy show, the girl stands up and goes, some of y'all are here today because someone told you you're funny. And I raised my hand. I go, no, I've been told since I was a kid I'm not funny. And everyone did that. They all laughed. And I was like, I'm actually serious. In my head, I'm not funny. Right. So they all thought that was funny. And then the teacher was like, oh, you should use that. I'm like, but I'm not fucking with you. I'm in my view, I'm not funny. So I'm here today. I'm here for the 12-week course. You're going to make me funny. And she was like, I don't know. Wait, how do you do that? Here's where I learned to go tie into you is at the very end, because how we graduated is we had a live event, and we invited our friends and family, and we did a 5-minute by ourselves stand up. And I hired a stand-up comedy coach right before that, thank God. And he said to me, here is what funny is in the world of comedy. It's being really real. It's just being really real. Because I didn't look like everybody else. I'm blonde hair and big boobed, and my heels are like that, And he goes, double down on that. You double down on that. He's the one who said, he helped me with my line of my mom wanted 3 things in my life, marry a wealthy guy and have a lot of babies and look good when I left. And I was like, Like he helped me craft that, but it's true. Like that is authentic. Yes. It's totally accurate. And it's funny because you can see that about me.
That's great.
It goes back to what you're saying. It's being real. So when you start to tell me what you think of this, because I want to kind of reiterate what you're saying. When you start to take off the layers of the other energies, and then you can start to be authentically you. So
yes.
How do you do that with clients, and how does one know personally that this is happening, and what's the fears they might be coming up with against?
Yeah, there's the hardest thing about it is a lot of it is so simple that people want to make it more complicated, and they believe, oh, only certain people have special gifts. And, you know, my ego would love it if, at a certain level, I would kind of enjoy it. Yes, I'm special. Other people aren't. Everybody can do this. Everybody can work with energy. And so the first thing is to even start opening up to that idea that it's not some mystical, weird gift that some people have. Everybody's got it. And when you become aware of it, you see people using it all the time. They don't know it. And we experience it. Somebody walks into a meeting and all of a sudden the meeting gets better. And they don't even say anything. Somebody walks in the meeting, all of a sudden it gets worse and they don't even say anything. So we've all experienced it. And a really, really simple thing, and I want to be clear to people that are listening, you know, when you give a tip, whether it's about marketing or being an entrepreneur or energy work, it's not going to do everything, you know? So it's like, if you learn how to use a saw, it's not going to drive screws, you know, or nails or.
Right. That's true.
So, but a really, really simple thing is everybody in NLP and in Energetic NLP, we use a lot of symbols and metaphors. You know that you're a hypnotist, and the unconscious mind loves that and gets it. And if your unconscious mind has a metaphor for something or a symbol for it, it will access abilities you didn't know you have. So pretty much everybody, when they were a child, played with a magnet. So it's wired into us that a magnet is this little thing that has energy, magnetic energy. If you take a pin and you let go of it, boom, it goes to the magnet. There's no effort on your part. You just have to let go. The magnet does the work. So I have people imagine energy magnets. And just, if I'm doing this with a 5-year-old, they do it instantly because they're not going, am I doing it right? Can I do it? Is Heather doing it better than Art? Or, you know, they just do it and they giggle. You know, they don't even worry if it's real. So with my students, I go, you're not allowed to really do it. You only can pretend you can do it, you know, and just kind of take all the performance out of it. And people can do this for themselves, or they can do it. I do this in my corporate work all the time. I'll clear the energy of a room. But first, just starting with the individual. So let's say somebody's feeling anxious or tired, or like I'm one of those people who wake up in the morning like, oh, kind of like, you know, and then I do this process, and then it's like, hello world, you know. It's like having coffee. So
what's the process? Can you share a little bit? Is it meditation, or how can I, let's just, you know, you can use me as an example. How can I, you know, clear my energy?
Right now. And
let's fit.
Yeah. So all you do, we're going to repeat this 4 times. You imagine a magnet floating out in front of you. You're not right real close, out in front of you.
Okay.
And just pretend that it has the ability to pull other people's energy out of your energy field. And depending on some belief, you put either your spirit in charge, your inner wisdom, you know, whatever works for the person. And you don't try to get everything, just whatever comes off easily. Because you may feel sometimes a tug of war, leave those alone. Whatever comes off easily, and then the magnet goes in the earth, and the earth recycles the energy.
Okay. All right. So magnet out, visualizing those energies being pulled to the magnet, and then imagine the magnet going back into the earth and releasing.
And for people who don't visualize well, all you have to do is pretend it's happening. Yeah. And then you do a magnet above your head, and it clears from your shoulders up through your head, around your head, going up at least 9 feet, 3 meters above your head. So put one way up above your head and just let it clear all of that. Because the energy field goes at least usually 9 feet above the head, 3 meters.
Okay, so we have one in front.
Yep.
We have one above. Anything else?
Yep, drop that into the earth. My favorite one behind, because energy literally hides behind our backs.
Okay.
Clear the back of our bodies.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people feel that one more than the others. You drop that into the earth. And the last one is in the earth, and you clear from like the base of your spine, through and around your legs, through your feet, and going down at least about 3 feet, a meter below your feet. Drop that into the earth. And then imagine above your head like a rainbow ball of energy. And again, let your inner wisdom, your spirit, pull in whatever energies will help you with whatever's up, whatever you're going to be doing. And then you fill back up with those energies.
Ooh, I like that.
Isn't that great? And
really great.
And for people who work on teams or have teams, I do that. My students do this all the time. And my clients love them that they're high tech, pharma, financial. So I don't even tell them I'm doing it. And the thing is, you don't control other people's energy, but like, but anybody, let's say you're in a meeting, particularly if you're running it, you just imagine outside the room is a magnet, and you just ask your spirit or inner wisdom to clear the room of any energies that aren't helping the people in it. So, you're just going, okay, whatever isn't helpful for us is leaving. You drop that in the earth, then you imagine a rainbow of energy coming in so that everybody gets whatever energy they need. And I've seen meetings go from everybody going, rah, 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 to all of a sudden, oh, well, we can do this. And oh, you're right. And, literally, it's one of my people who study with me. She works for a Silicon Valley company. She always works with the energy. And she told me a couple of months ago she was rushed and she didn't do it. And it was the first time they had a terrible meeting.
Yeah.
But an important caveat, you don't try to control people. So think of it like if you're throwing a party or a dinner, you try to set a good environment, but you don't force people to have fun. You make it easy. So I clear the energies out of the room that the people don't want, and I bring in energies of collaboration, creative problem solving. But I don't like if you were in the meeting with me, I don't force it into you. I just bring it into the environment. And if you want it, you'll suck it up, which you probably will. Because even when people are mad at each other at a meeting, in an inner level, they'd really rather have a good meeting.
Right. They really want to have a good time. But they're there. They really kind of probably.
Yeah. Even if they hate each other, they'd rather. And I've had worked with teams sometimes where people are going, God, that was so magical. And we thought everybody would be at each other's throats. And a lot of it is I just keep clearing the energy, bringing energy, but I'm not forcing anything on anybody. That's really
you're not forcing. So how do you use NLP inside of that? Do you use the energetic piece first and then you move into NLP?
Yeah, it's kind of a dance. It depends.
Okay.
So, as you know, NLP has a lot of different aspects. So
yeah.
I'm listening for the beliefs of people. So what people say, what they're doing or expressing, their all that programming we talked about at the beginning, the cultural, the unconscious, the energetic programming, and it's coming out in their language and their actions. So at times I switch into an NLP mode and do, people might not know the term reframing, I know you do, where reframing is where you help people see something differently. So an example of that, let's say you have somebody on a team who complains a lot. And if I'm working with a coaching, executive coaching, a leader, I'll go, well, that person really cares. They'll go, what? And I'll go, if they didn't really care, they wouldn't be complaining. People who don't care, they just let it slide. They sign it on. So, you can look at somebody, oh, they're a complainer, but if you look at them and go, what is it that they're committed to? And speak to that, they stop complaining. And because they when you get like, oh, they think they're helping. Okay, what is the gift in there, and how do I help them do it in a way that works better for the team? NLP has a lot. When I'm working with people one-on-one, there's belief changes, there's addiction changes. So it's kind of a dance. Because the reason I started bringing it together is you can do miracles with people energetically, you can do miracles with people with NLP, but there's some things that NLP won't take care of, and there's some things the energy work won't take care of. So let's say with a shaman or a great healer, if you have beliefs, let's say that you're unworthy and you're not deserving of a healing, you either won't accept the healing or you'll take it apart and go back. And I used to have clients back in the 80s who do that, and I didn't understand it. They had beliefs that couldn't accept the healing because they were bad, they should be punished. So then I'll switch to an NLP mode, and we'll work on changing those limiting beliefs, and we'll go back to energy. So it's like this dance.
Oh, it's a nice little dance. You're getting both modalities together, the belief systems, the energy, the belief systems, the energy. And so you're kind of going that together. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and ways of thinking. Again, I know you know a lot about, but NLP is a lot about the processes by which we're thinking, and even little tiny details like in your mind, how do you picture something that you believe or something you doubt? And then you can help people like change beliefs. And there's just all these. NLP is magical, and the energy works magical. When you put them together, it's like magic times magic.
Right. It's really good. Well, it does help people release old programming, karma, emotions, limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And they really discover who they truly are. So I want to make sure everyone knows the website. It's energeticnlp.com/like-a-boss. That's energeticnlp.com/like-a-boss. We're talking to Art Giser, Giser. You can find them there. Tell us more what they'll find at the website, energeticnlp.com/like-a-boss.
Well, they'll find three things. They'll find a webinar that they can access on demand that will teach them not just that energy technique that we did before, but I think there's 3 energy techniques everybody absolutely needs to know. And like I say, particularly here in California, a lot of top Silicon Valley executives, they know this stuff. So there's that. There's, if people want to have a discovery session one-on-one with myself or it's just a couple of people who do them for me. It's not a sales call. It's a discovery session where people, and they get a little energy reading as part of it to like, what's holding them back, whether they're successful or not, but what's holding them at whatever level they are, what would it take to move forward so they can apply, because we don't take everybody, they have to go to an application. They can apply for that free session. They can have the free webinar. And then there's a free shorter video that helps people open up to the helpful spiritual energies that are around us. That's, he says modestly, is really great.
Yeah, they're really great. Yeah, they're really great. I love this. This is a great, I could talk to you about it all day. I believe that as I move forward in my life, that the energy of me and the people around me are way more important than I thought,
Yeah.
So I think that am I encouraging the listeners to really consider what energy is and how they're ignoring it or not ignoring it. I think we've all walked into a room, especially women, and feel something's off here.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier today, I had an interview. I do interviews back to back to back on my interview day, and didn't go well at all. It was an energetically disaster. And I had to it wasn't you, Art. And I had to clear the space a little bit for the next person because it was on me. And in fact, I was starting the next interview and I bumped my coffee and the coffee went all over my computer and I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, so I had to take a minute and kind of clear the energy a little bit with myself so that it gave opportunity for you and the other people I'm interviewing today an opportunity to show up, newly. And it could really make a difference. And I can't tell you, that person was bad. It was our energies, his and mine, were just kind of this clashing and just fighting, in a weird way. And if you listen to the interview and, you'll hear it at one point. We kind of Literally start fighting. And I'm he's a stranger. And it was we started fighting literally on my interview. But you know what? I'm okay with that. It's not all interviews would be perfect.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm not going to, if someone asks me who the other person is or what happened, and that's not it's not them. It was the energy. Our energies were just literally clashing, And so I think there's a lot to that. I know in a business sense when people say, why don't you like that person? I'm I don't know. There's something with our energy that isn't fit. And I was showing more time. I was at an event on Monday, beautiful dinner here in Austin with beautiful entrepreneurs. I had a beautiful time, met some beautiful people. And then there was this one person that this was off, and I just loved them anyway. And I had someone come to me and go, hey, you really upset so-and-so. And I said in a loving way, well, it's not my job to have everyone love me. Yes. And understand that sometimes energies just don't, for whatever reason. I probably triggered something in that person. And maybe they got triggered by me. Maybe I triggered them. Maybe, who knows? Yeah. At the same time, that person was like, well, you need to hear my feedback so that you can change yourself. And I'm like, no, I don't need to. In a loving way. Right. It's okay that person didn't like me. It's okay that our energies didn't mix. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And then we went out to drinks later with the same person. And again, they were doubling down. You need to listen to this. And I finally said, look, did you know that 51% of the listeners of Howard Stern hate him? Did you know that 60%, if not 80% of people that read, Donald Trump's tweets hate him? It's okay that someone didn't like me today. Like, it's okay, And I think there's something to that at an energetic level, that it's like, it's okay that energies don't mix perfectly, Well,
what you're saying, there's several super important things that you're saying.
Okay, go ahead.
But let me just underscore, a lot of times when you don't get along with somebody, it's some energy in their field that isn't them, and some energy in your field that isn't you.
Probably.
And when you clear your energy, and if you do it respectfully, you can't just clear somebody's energy, but there's ways you can internally, like part of teaching people, there's ways you can get permission without saying it out loud. If they give you permission, I just put a magnet and clear what's not authentic to them, clear what's not authentic to me. And often we at least get along, when it's that kind of thing where but I think it's so perceptive of you, and I hope everybody listening really gets it. A lot of when people don't get along, it's like there's something in your energy field that doesn't like something in their energy field. Yeah. Because usually the person's authentic energy, you may not love it, but usually people's authentic energy, even some pretty nasty people, their authentic energy is usually pretty nice. It's all the programming and other energy that twists their behavior. And
I think there's another level to that, I think, that I want to add, and this is so great that you're having this conversation. It didn't help, I think, from a social construct perspective, that I was a woman and she was a woman. Yeah. There's a whole woman thing there. Right. And then the person that got the complaint was a man. And so the man was like, she doesn't like you. We need to fix that. And I was like, oh, we don't. We really don't. Like, it's okay. Like, it really is okay that there's a woman on this planet that we didn't like fit. That's okay. But there was this like angst with him. Like, he wouldn't let it go for a while, for a couple of hours. Like, no. If it was me, I would really want to know. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, it's really, I send her love, and whatever her response is to me, I honor her and her view of me. And I don't know what it is. It's okay that I don't know. I don't need to understand it, whatever. And I felt it was energetic because there wasn't something specific that she said. Right. There was an energy thing happening with her and I that was very like, something's like, rah, rah, rah. And I just kept smiling, like, I'm just going to smile through this because there's something energetically happening here. And I just kind of like go, sometimes you just kind of have to really go, but there's a social construct with women. Yeah. Also than men. And then having that the person that they complained, like, I don't like her because whatever, was a man. So the man felt like he had to like, I got to fix this. Two women don't like each other, and I'm like, sweetheart, like, it's all good.
I remember the first time I was listening to a cousin of mine's girlfriend talk about how wonderful he was, and he didn't try to fix it. And I remember thinking, oh my God, people don't always want you to fix it, and particularly women don't always want you to fix it. They want you to shut up and listen. It was just like this light bulb. I was like,
so true.
Oh, that's why I piss him off sometimes.
Yeah, so true. And so the other woman obviously was like tapping into that with him, like, you need to go fix her, because we had him in common, like he knew her. And but for me, I was like, I'm not interested in fixing it. Like, it's actually perfect, Because what's so fascinating about that specifically, over the period of my years, I can also tell you there were two women in my life that when we first met, we hated each other. We clashed. But because we had that clash, and over time we like moved through it, we became like besties. Because we were able to like, I don't like you, I don't know what, I don't know you either, you know, and then we were able to like somehow along the way shift it and love who we are and almost like honor that part of that other person that we didn't like at the beginning. And that allowed me to honor me and honor that piece of me. And then I shifted it and she shifted it and we became like lifelong friends. So that's why I think what my point is with this is sometimes it's okay that things aren't energetically working.
Yes. And
clearing it massively helps. And like you said, we can't always force someone else's energy to change. Just don't make it wrong.
That is, you know,
right?
In my programs, I'm always going, we never say it's positive or negative energy.
Yeah, it's just
go, I like it or I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I like that flavor, I don't like that. It's the same thing. We don't have to make it bad just because we don't like it.
Right.
Know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, that particular person, her words were, well, she was defensive. And my response was like, I was just saying my truth. It's all okay, you know? So it's interesting. I think that that's why what you do, it's so powerful what you do when you're working with executives at that high level. You are working with a whole nother world. You're really working at that higher level. It's way beyond knowledge and strategy.
Totally.
Knowledge and strategy is the beginning, and then you move into energy, and you move into NLP around energy. It's next level. It's way up there next level. It reminds me of a lot of work I did with Joel Bauer back. A lot of work with Joel Bauer. Sorry, we can talk forever. I want to let you go.
This is great talking to you. I love your energy and I love your insights. It was really great. A fun conversation.
Thank you. You don't find me defensive.
Okay, I add one thing real quick is when I learned at NLP is like when somebody says like you're being defensive, it means they're probably being defensive. Usually whatever we accuse the other person of, there's a good chance, that, am I doing this? Oh, I'm being defensive too.
Right. Yeah. No, I got that. And and my old self would have been like, well, I got to go talk to her or tell me what she said. But the new self is like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
She found me defensive. Okay. You know what I mean? And I think he was like, well, you need to fix that. I'm like, do I? Do I? So energeticnlp.com, energeticnlp.com /like-a-boss.
Yes.
Go check it out, everyone. This is really powerful stuff. If you are a leader in any way, thought leader, want to be a leader, want to be a boss in your own life, I highly suggest you really take on beyond knowledge, beyond strategy, move into energetic conversations as well as NLP. So thank you, Art, for being here.
My pleasure, and love your podcast. Keep them going.
Thank you. All right, everyone, this is Heather Havenwood. Check us out. Please, please, please go to Amazon and type in Heather Havenwood like a boss and give us a rating and enable that skill on your Alexa. This is Heather Havenwood. Check us out at heatherhavenwood.com.